Hello, guys. Anyone here? 28 people with 8 upvotes already. Tell me something in the chat. Say hi. Do you hear me? Do you see me? Everything good? I intentionally started like a few minutes earlier just to say hi. Yes, Bumblebee, one of my one of my most active commenters. Now I know people by nicknames a lot. This is quite funny, and in a lot of cases I don't know the names. But if you want to, actually, I want to get more personal with you in general. I started a thing on Discord for premium members, but in general, if you have any problem that I can help with Laravel or your career, just don't hesitate to email me, povilas@laraveldaily.com, and let's be more personally in touch. Right. So, as an intro, I want to start with. The plan for today is to analyze LaraJobs. Actually, I will share my screen probably. Yep, share screen. Um, share entire screen. Okay. Right. This looks funny. Right. Do you see my screen? But actually, if you do see my screen, then you will see that weird Inception thing. Actually, probably I will stop sharing. I will share only one tab of LaraJobs. Right, sharing this. So do you see LaraJobs on your screen? Yep, you see Infinity Mirror. Sorry, ironically, I'm not that good at YouTube, at video, and at live especially. So I'm a YouTuber guy who edits a lot, but I'm not that professional with live and Zoom and Google Meets and all of that. So yeah, you probably see LaraJobs now on screen, and we will go through that. But I want to actually, yeah, let's start with LaraJobs, and then we'll go to other tabs. So I want to show a few tabs, a few posts about general job market for developers. So AI is not taking our jobs, and I have a few proofs and how you can maybe have more chance to get jobs or freelance projects. But for now, let's just browse through LaraJobs, and I will try to react or comment. I will zoom the tab in. Let's see, basically, my goal here is let's see what is hot on the market currently, what is trending, not necessarily trending, what is more popular, what are the angles of companies who hire, because then I can maybe help people to get hired, maybe teach something from another angle, maybe come up with ideas for a course, a YouTube video, or whatever. So just the first the first source for that is LaraJobs, because it's official Laravel jobs, and a lot of people want to get hired here. Of course, now I'm talking about skills to get hired. I cannot really help you guys with like regional thing. For example, if US company cannot hire outside of US, or I cannot help you that much with presenting yourself on the job interviews or CVs, that's a separate topic. So for now, let's focus on the skills. So what are the skills on LaraJobs by people? And this is interesting how LaraJobs work. I clicked on the link, and the link gets not to LaraJobs, but usually to the website of the company or some other like Google Doc, LinkedIn, or something like that. So this is one of those cases. So this company is looking for head of engineering, not even mentioning Laravel at first. Targeting, yeah. So I will just browse around what we're looking for. 5-10 years building B2B SaaS products. So it's not even a Laravel role. Experience with data processing, AI, ML, analytics, and yeah, I guess not much more here. So head of engineering, yeah, not much to comment here because it's not that much about Laravel. But I guess some companies invest in posting on LaraJobs. Sorry, just get any candidate if the candidate is good enough and the salary is pretty good, and then caps must live in USA, but this is not a Laravel job, but it is on LaraJobs. But maybe there's a chance that someone would still see that and get hired. Userscape, a familiar company name. Userscape helps, but I think it's Ian Lansman, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, they're looking for support engineer. What is support engineer and what do with Laravel? This is not a full-time development role. being a developer will give you huge amount of insight. So this is interesting plot twist. So support engineer who understands Laravel enough to basically answer the questions and potentially document it and fix bugs in the application. So this is great. This is another angle for uh, how developers can be helpful in a company. So not necessarily by writing code, but also in customer support. Thinking about it, even with our team, so myself included, I'm useful not only as code writer, but also replying to YouTube comments here. That's also customer support. So this is a great place to be in, to be a developer who also can help with technical stuff. Experience with MySQL, yeah, tech stack. But this is, by the way, this is outside of this role, tech stack of Hub Userscape in this case. And let's see what they want. Laravel, Livewire, Alpine, tall stack, love it. I'm a big fan. Legacy PHP. This is, they are being honest. So you are going into like basically two worlds. Tall stack, which is pretty modern, and then some parts of their applications is legacy PHP. So this is what I noticed for developer roles. If the company has a few projects and you would potentially jump between the projects, then yeah, you need to be full stack with Laravel 12 and Laravel 7, for example, on the same day. This is pretty intense, but it's a reality of companies. And then on top of Laravel, Redis, AWS, Ansible, and Docker, and salary looks pretty cool. Half day Fridays. But yeah, from those, let's discuss, guys, in the chat. So from these, which do you think my help would be beneficial to teach something, prepare some YouTube video or course or something on one of those? I will just read in the chat. Do you have anything to say? Uh, yeah, thank you for the comment about clearly you explain. Yeah, I'm trying to explain clearly. This is one of my thing. Okay, I see Redis. I see Docker mentioned. Okay, with Redis, actually, the thing, Redis is used for so many things. That's probably, it depends on use case. So use Redis for what? For caching, for other stuff. But maybe a course on Redis would be useful. In a way, it's straightforward. It's just like get and put. It's a storage engine. But so I'm not actually sure what I could explain. And thinking about it, I think on Laravel Daily we do have about Redis. I'm just not sure if it's free or premium, but let me just search in another tab quickly. We do have a course about Laravel queues on server with Horizon and Redis. Yep, I have Redis and Laravel 101, written 2 years ago, but probably still relevant. So I will put it in the chat. It's a premium article, but 25 minutes read, 26 minutes, 5,000 words, pretty intense. I didn't plan that video to be like advertisement for Laravel Daily or something, but in this case, I don't have anything free. Oh, actually, I do have free caching in Laravel simple example. Another thing may be useful for Redis, so this one is free. And another vote for Redis by Plombier. Okay, so Redis has 2 votes here to be explained in a deeper way. With Docker, I was thinking about it, but the topic of Docker is such a huge thing. So it's almost like I have to start explaining Linux first and like how things work under the hood. And then I have to, in a way, get server side up tools for Docker. So they have Docker image and a lot of things are already prepared, or I take Laravel Sail. But if I take those, then people wouldn't really understand Docker under the hood. So I didn't find for now good angle to explain Docker without spending like 3 months on it. So I'm not sure. Okay, we took a look at one job description. Let's go further. Full stack Laravel developer. In this case, Laravel is in the title. Great, and this is German, but let's try to translate it to English with Google Translate. This is Chrome translation, so maybe inaccurate, but this is interesting. Let me zoom in. So PHP knowledge, ideally Laravel or Symfony. And I see it pretty much all the time in job descriptions, but I'm not entirely sure. What does that actually mean? Does that mean that the company has both Laravel and Symfony projects, which I don't believe is like often the case? Or maybe they have PHP projects with one of the frameworks with ability to maybe switch in the future. Or maybe they just think that if the person knows either of those frameworks, then they have general knowledge about PHP and frameworks and would be useful anyway. So I'm not sure how to translate those. Or similarly, like JavaScript experience with React, Vue, or Svelte or whatever. So which one? I think the company should be more specific. Front end experience with Tailwind and Livewire. Again, tall stack is growing. This is great news. And nice to have Docker, prompt engineering, AI, ML. With ML engineering, we'll talk about that a bit later in this video. I have a few things to say about that. But yeah, all of that tall stack, Laravel, German language, so that of course limits the ability to get hired. And Docker again is here, not Redis, or actually Redis is here, and tech stack is down below. MariaDB, which is probably similar to MySQL, so it's not that difficult. So Docker and Redis, the same keywords here and the same tall stack. GitLab, this is interesting. So I don't see many companies still using GitLab, but yeah. Search, Mealy Search, this is great. So I was thinking actually to create a video or something about full text search. So I even made a poll on Twitter. So what do you use? Mealy Search, Algolia, TypeSense, or whatever. And recently, actually, Jeffrey Way posted, not sure if you saw on LaraCast's on YouTube channel, there's a 4-hour course on TypeSense specifically free outside of LaraCast on the YouTube channel. This was this was a surprise for me that it was free outside of LaraCast. So maybe another topic to dive into is full text search. And S3 is, of course, kind of a no-brainer. And AI, OpenAI integration. This is also more and more companies use AI as API. Okay, what I will get back to chat after reading all each job description, and you can comment on that. Oh, I didn't know that TypeSense was free on Laracast, so it's just reposting on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't know that. Cool. Anyway, question about junior vacancies. For juniors, is PHP still a viable choice? Where do I start on this? I can talk about that for an hour. So last week I was on vacation in Gran Canaria and thought about a lot how we can make PHP back again, popular again, and have more opportunities for juniors as well. And I see the same thing that junior positions, not a lot of junior positions in general on the market because of AI, not only because of AI, but because of economy first and then AI on top. For PHP specifically, I don't see juniors almost at all, but it's not even that. How do I phrase it? To get hired as a PHP or Laravel engineer, you kind of need to skip the junior level at all. You have to get the experience on junior level almost on your own for your own projects or as intern somewhere, but there are no internships publicly. So basically, the best way is for someone to believe in you as a junior and take you on board for, I don't know, internship or help. And I might do something like that. I'm thinking to do maybe some kind of like academy, or I don't know, I wouldn't call it internship. It wouldn't be paid. But basically, the goal for juniors is to get enough experience to get hired in PHP, so the bar is higher. To get hired, LaraJobs is mostly seniors, so things that I will read now on this stream probably is not for juniors, but another way to start is go to Upwork or any freelance job boards and try to implement the projects cheaply. It's not for money, it's for experience, but then you get the experience with real projects, and then you can show that experience to get hired into PHP and Laravel role, which may be paid like normal money, not Upwork money. But we'll talk about Upwork a bit later. I have the tab saved for that. Let's go. So what are we? 15 minutes already. Wow, time flies. Let's go through like three more pretty quickly. Bitter Brains, another job for full stack Vue and Laravel 10. This is cool that they are open, that they are not on Laravel 12. What? Oh, Vue School. So this is like our friends. It's not friends. I don't know them personally, but I know the project. So Vue School, official Vue certification, basically Vue. Number one probably resource to learn Vue. So they're looking for a Laravel developer with Vue and with Nova, which is actually based on Vue. And what do they actually require? Again, let's zoom in a little. Job queues and background tasks with Redis and Horizon. Okay, so Redis is a thing. It's trending. And Redis with Horizon, actually, I will link in the chat as well. Redis and Horizon. This is part of the course. Um, Actually, let me see if it's still relevant. It's a course from 2023, from what I remember, but I don't think much has changed since that, since that time. And also, there's course about queues. Not sure. I mean, I do have course about Laravel queues and practical stuff, but again, it's a premium thing. There's practical queues on Laravel server. Yep, found it put in the chat. So if Redis is a thing, Redis is used in the course of practical Laravel queues, but maybe I should shoot a separate YouTube video describing that. So Redis for queues is a thing. Vue and Nuxt. In their case, I don't have actually much content with Nuxt, but I think it's pretty niche for our audience on YouTube. I want to focus on Laravel more and not on JavaScript that much. Tailwind, of course, backend API with Axios and Fetch, GitHub and GitLab, both. This is interesting. CI/CD pipelines, Netlify, Vercel, or AWS. No Laravel Cloud yet here, but okay. And AWS is also a pretty huge thing. And I do have, again, a course on deploying for AWS, but I don't want to get too like advertisement here for Laravel Daily. Let just Google Laravel AWS, and you'll find something that I published in the past. Backend development. So Nova is still a thing. With Nova, this is interesting story. So Filament is taking the market by storm, and Tall Stack, as you saw, but Nova is still used. It's not like totally dead, but it's not actively advertised on stage. So I think it will become like less and less popular. Job queues and background tasks. Actually, this thing, so point number 4, is the thing that I would advise everyone to learn, all the developers. I think I tweeted like a few months ago, something like that. So this thing, understanding how queues work with like big scale, like for example, if you have to send 10,000 invoices at once, or if you have to send like perform a lot of tasks in some batches or something like that. So this is very common operation for bigger companies, and just learning that would help you massively optimize Laravel API performance. So yeah, that's another thing with, but this is more like database query optimization indexing. This is also, I've talked about that so many times on this channel and on Laravel Daily and elsewhere. Eloquent performance is still like number one topic, how to make database faster. But there's such a big amount of free tutorials on that. I think I don't want to repeat myself. Okay. Hi, Punyapal, you're also in the chat. Nice to see you. You're saying they need whole IT department in one dev. To be honest, a lot of job advertisement, job descriptions look like that, like department in one development. With Redis, can you say or explain what does level of knowledge with ecosystem like Redis when the job description asks for it? Um, Your knowledge is enough. So the comment is, I know how to set by reading the docs. So yeah, that's the basics. But setting up Redis for your local machine or local cache or queue is like step zero, step one. Like it works, yay, okay, we can move on. But what actually is needed on the jobs is basically the same, but at scale for a lot of users at the same time. Uh, so this is probably what is missing, thinking about it in a live mode. What is missing for developers to learn something is that tutorials explain like the 101 how to set up things, how to make it work. But the experience in real projects usually require like more scale, basically more users, bigger database, more traffic, live traffic, reacting to errors quicker. So it's totally different use case for the same thing like Redis. So yeah, I'm not sure how to explain it to answer the question. Right, and let's move on to other few job description, and then I will of LaraJobs. What I think, senior Laravel full stack engineer. Those titles like engineer, full stack. So yeah, we're talking about like person quite often. But let's see. One on health, senior developer, React and TypeScript. So this is another thing. Looking at trends, I see Laravel as the backend, but what people use for the front end is like React with TypeScript is like sexy and growing because of AI actually, and because of Next.js trending, because a lot of AI actually writes the code for React. So it's getting more popular, but also TallStack is getting more popular, and Vue.js is still popular. So all three of those are popular on different levels, and you can find the jobs for all three companies, possibly three tech stacks. So it's your maybe choice what to invest in. React will give you more benefits outside of Laravel, so that may be the more longer term strategy. But if you want to stay backend more, so then Livewire and TallStack is better to not dive into JavaScript world. So yeah, what else here? Duties, responsibilities, qualifications. Okay. Proficient in TypeScript. Okay, so TypeScript is not just it's TypeScript, inertia. So this is a real stack: React, inertia, TypeScript, and Laravel. Also Tailwind, also MySQL. So nothing really too different here. Docker, but familiarity with Docker. With Docker is also it's same as Redis. I cannot explain Redis, so I cannot explain Docker because Docker is used like to do what? To mm, share the Docker images between the team, to deploy stuff, to scale stuff. It's like such a big topic in itself. Experience in clinical research. So this is interesting. But another thing, while preparing for jobs, I see people kind of bombarding the CVs, the same CV to every company, and for some reason they don't get reply. But what I would do, what my advice would be, is to kind of prepare specific CV, individual CV for every company, because some companies in their job description have some item, some description, some requirement, which may be a fit for you. Maybe some of you do have something related to clinical research or something. Maybe your wife is clinical researcher and you've heard a lot of terms from her, for example. so so yeah, every job description should be met with CV kind of tailored for that company, and that would uh, improve your chances to get noticed, at least not necessarily hired. And pest browser, this is great that pest browser testing is a thing, because when Pest 4 came out and I shot a video about Pest 4 browser testing, it was surprisingly unpopular as a video. I thought it would be like big hype and big thing. So we're replacing Laravel Dusk with Pest browser testing, but apparently not many people are doing browser testing at all. Okay, so we have Railed Stack here. And let's do one more. Senior software engineering, position closed. Okay, this is another thing with LaraJobs. I noticed that not that many jobs. So we covered for like 5 6 days or 1 week now. So it's like one per day. It's bigger than it used to be. A few months ago it was like a few per week. Now it's more. Okay, so the job market is back again, more active. But let's see one more. Verify you are human. Am I human? Let's see. For now, let's see in the chat. Message bus and rabbit MQ. Okay, this is another topic. What about Docker? So yeah, with Docker, can you reply in the chat? In our company, Docker is mandatory for developers, but what do you actually do with that? Mandatory to do what? What do you think? Which is the first right now? View. I commented that it's maybe anything. Docker is used. Right, we use Docker for local setup. Okay, so for local setup for each developer. So for example, when someone gets hired or someone starts with a new project, so that doesn't happen too often, I think. Code reviews probably important. Yeah, code reviews. I was thinking to like shoot a course or YouTube video or something about efficient code reviews. Uh, but I'm not sure if it's even a topic. But code reviews became even more active now with AI. So we need to review code written by AI. Do they mean like knowing the ins and outs on every technology? Um, Dockerized dev environment, so you hit the same versions and settings with all the environment. Okay, so you're talking about like staging servers, virtual environments, and yeah, I guess so. But do many companies have that as requirement? Probably bigger companies do have that, and probably each company have their own Docker setup or preferences. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how can I help here with like local. I don't know, with small amount of content for Docker. Question: can you give me some good free course for Laravel and Vue? Free course. Actually, Vue School had free week or free day pretty recently. Um, I don't have free course for Laravel and Vue, unfortunately. I have Laravel for beginners, but without Vue. With Vue, everything like Vue Starter Kit and everything, I don't have free. Sorry for that. But I think if you Google like Laravel and Vue on YouTube, I think there will be a lot of courses. So yeah, I cannot answer that. With Docker, I will think about it. I keep coming to that topic again and again, but I cannot really choose the angle for Docker. What is the best thing? What is the best angle? Okay, that opened. Isolocity, full stack web developer. Let's zoom in. And let's see, Laravel 12 and React. So this is where we again meet real stack. Laravel, React, Tailwind, and Inertia. And Canada in this case. Minimum of 1 year of experience with Laravel. So this is good. This is almost junior position actually, but at least 3 years of experience with JavaScript. So this is one example that I mentioned earlier: Vue, React, or Svelte. So which one? I mean, company should probably choose one of those, but probably they already mentioned that React here on top. But this is probably the idea that if you know Vue, you would switch to React relatively quickly. uh, what else? HTML, CSS, Git, REST APIs. So I think actually this job description, if we don't if we discard Canada as authorization, this the most junior-ish I saw in recent like days or something. So 3 years of experience. So you need to do something for a few years, but that is how do I phrase that for juniors? For example, in other professions, for example, my wife is a dentist, and for like medical and, for example, for lawyers, it's pretty common to have unpaid or like lower paid internships to get practice in order to get a proper licensed job. So my wife is currently she's not a youngster. She's outside of university for like, I don't know how many years, but she's still studying, paying her own money to get some degree qualification for some dentistry, something. And then again, she would have to pay for assist someone to get the practice. So I guess this is what developers need to get used to these days. To get hired as a junior, you need to get practice, I don't know, mentored by someone, let's put it this way. And then you can apply for jobs like this when you have experience, when your GitHub is full of examples and pretty impressive examples. Then you can apply for jobs like these ones on LaraJobs. Okay, let's close the screen, stop sharing for now. I will get back in full mode. Let's browse the chat for now, and I will show a few more things about the jobs. What I think. Okay, we don't see Docker because of the size of the project. We don't use Docker because size of the project. Okay, Sail is great. Sail is great, but I think it's kind of, I don't know, not popular because I saw people complaining about Sail not working with various things. Um, Question: will there be a discount for Black Friday? Yes, I'm working on that with a few surprises on that. So I'll probably publish that next week, sometimes mid next week. There will be a Black Friday Discord discounts. Sorry, I need to drink. Anyway, we're half an hour. So let's make like 15, 20 minutes more. Question: do you have courses in Russian? No, I don't. Have you find some remote jobs? Um, I think Punyapal is asking others, so I'm not looking for a job at the moment, so I cannot answer that. Um, the bottom has fallen off the job market, extensive layoffs. I will comment on that in a few minutes. Can you give me some challenge, junior, mid-level? Because I've done Brainstorm Academy full stack, I have certificate, but I want to learn Vue and Laravel. So challenge, junior, mid-level. I'm thinking about that. So this is part of my idea to get like academy or whatever where someone would implement the projects, put on their GitHub, and I would kind of mentor that. But we'll see when. For now, it's still an idea, it's still in shaping. Can I find Laravel and Vue development job? Currently I'm looking for a job. For those looking for jobs, can you explain, actually, to not stop the live stream, can you email me, povilas@laraveldaily.com, and explain your situation? Where are you looking for jobs? How many CVs have you sent? Have you got any feedback from them? And what companies are you, I don't know, aiming for? So there are a lot of things to find a job, in the process of how people try to find the job. So sometimes the skills are there, but what is missing is presentation skills or CV writing skills. Also, there could be a mismatch geographically. Unfortunately, for some geographical areas, is harder to get hired in, for example, US or like UK or other countries who tend to be more local, not remote. And also, of course, there's a huge competition now for jobs. So maybe you have to stand out with how you, again, how you present yourself. It's not enough to say that you have experience. You have to, I don't know, stand out somehow. So email me and I maybe can help with some advice. Uh, Niche thing, but I have never seen anyone talk about things need to change from solo to working as a team. Yes, I had a few YouTube videos on that. Actually, I will look it up. Team. I think I have tips for working in dev team. What was the video 4 years ago? But yeah, I mean, still relevant, mostly relevant. So I will put it in the chat. My video 4 years ago. So I used to talk much more about dev career in general. Videos from my car, if someone knew, someone remember those. But this is one of those videos where I talk about what to learn to switch from solo to the team, and this may be um, one of the problems when getting hired. So yeah, get repos, and yeah, so people need to get experience with working in a team. So that's why if I do an academy, it will be team based assignments. So people would also get used to Git and team environment. Is PHP still hot? It's colder, let's put it this way. But yeah, if you notice my tweets and stuff, actually, maybe some of you haven't seen last week, I've published a huge thing which got like 450 stars on GitHub at the moment. Examples of large PHP and Laravel projects with stories of people who work with Laravel and PHP, like millions of requests, thousands of dollars earned. So yeah, PHP is still used in a lot of companies, and it's not dying or anything, but it's more like on the back end, and not many people talk about it loudly. So this is why it seems not hot, but there are still a lot of opportunities. Right. The question: I'm from Bangladesh and having time to find remote job. So yeah, email me and I will try to help. Lower the price. Lower the price for what? For courses, I will have Black Friday deals. If I lower the price, then I will probably have to stop doing courses because I would not have time, or stop doing YouTube and do only paid courses. Not sure, because if my income gets lower, then I would have to get back to programming consulting job, and would probably stop doing courses at all, or YouTube. Right. What else in the chat? These days, jobs rely more on connections than online job searching. Very, very good point. So the best way to find a job is if someone knows someone who knows someone who knows you, something like that. So the jobs that are on the market officially, it's usually jobs that failed to hire someone from their inside circle. So basically, the more people know that you are available and you're looking for a job and what are your skills, the better. Yeah, PHP renaming about its bad reputation. This is a cool idea, but of course it will not happen. What's your prediction for PHP Laravel development in 5 years? I see very good future for Laravel. PHP is not hot anymore, but Laravel is hot and getting hotter, and Taylor and the team are doing all of that more possible. Afghanistan, buy courses too much for me. Actually, for some countries, I have so-called PPP, discount parity power purchasing, I think it's called. So it's up to 40% off, which is automatically applied when you visit on laraveldaily.com. And yeah, right. So nothing more actionable in the chat. So let's do another thing. Let me show you a few tweets. So let me share my screen and yep, this one. So recently on LinkedIn, I received this comment. I hope you see that on screen. Yep, you do. So Asfia, it was a comment on LinkedIn on some other topic. I don't even remember the topic, but I screenshot it and put it on Twitter. The approach to go to Upwork: take a task, implement, and upload it on GitHub. I mentioned that earlier in this video, and I've been doing that quite a lot in my demo projects on YouTube. So I put something on Laravel Daily Project examples. I shoot a video as an example of what you could be um, kind of playing around with, and you can put it on your GitHub, and then it would help to land employers and clients. And Asphere reports that it actually works. My voice is getting out, so I think I have like max 10 more minutes. So this is an example for juniors, especially if you practice more and create some demo, but more serious demo project, and put it on GitHub, that could be your chance to get noticed at least. So for example, if you put something about for example, the same example, something medical, something pharmaceutical, just research with ChatGPT, whatever, something about medicine, put some medical small CRM on GitHub with a few screenshots, and then send that link to GitHub or to clickable project to a potential employer in that specific niche. That would massively increase your chance, because that company would be looking for someone who knows at least something about their niche. So this is one of the examples. Right, so this is one thing I wanted to show you with stop sharing, and I will answer a bit more. Thing. Punyapal is asking, what are you using for streaming? I don't use anything, it's just YouTube Live. I just clicked go live, and that's it. Right, and another thing I wanted to share is about economy, the recent study that I found and also shared on Twitter. This is the thing. I've shared it. Okay, so this is the tweet. There's a link that I will put in the chat so you can read that in full. Pretty long article. I found it on Hacker News. So someone analyzed 180 million jobs to see the difference between 2025 and 2024. So what jobs are getting lower and declining jobs are not developers. So artists, photographers, and writers, this, of course, it's kind of obvious if you think about it. So AI is taking their jobs here, but with developers, the data suggests the opposite. The number of software engineer jobs is not in the decline. It hasn't changed much, although the whole market, the whole was the average number was minus 8%, but for developers it was 0%. And for specific machine learning engineers and AI engineers, it was like huge, again, obviously huge rise. So this may be the area that you want to invest in, but of course it's not enough to like create a demo project or read a tutorial on ML, because ML, machine learning, is pretty deep. It's almost like mathematical in a way, so it's much harder to adopt than PHP, for example, than Laravel. But maybe if you are looking into a career like 2 3 years ahead, so maybe you can start working on that point. um, but also, with that said, I worked with Python like last no 2 years ago. I made an experiment, have a YouTube channel, Python ML Daily, and I was trying to learn ML and also teach along the way on YouTube. And I realized that with ML, you have to, and with Python and with AI in general, you have to relearn constantly. So Laravel and PHP and web in general is relatively more stable, even with changes like React getting trendy or Livewire getting trendy or Tailwind versus Bootstrap and stuff like that. It happens usually in like years. In ML and AI, it happens in like weeks and months. You have to learn new tools, how to optimize this, what model to use, how to. So like, it's, if you go this route, there's a reason why those developers are well paid machine learning engineers, because it's pretty hard. So after learning some of that, I was like really drained compared to web development. Also, another thing, front end engineering jobs have declined, and with that, I think I think what AI will do or already is doing is taking away the jobs of like startups like Lovable and Bolt, and even just general ML LLM model. You can ask LLM to prepare a pretty design for you, and it would be relatively good. You would have to like tweak things here and there, but front end engineers is like relatively easier ish to replace compared to backend, because for backend you need to also know not only to generate the code but how to deploy, how to scale it and stuff like that. For front end, I cannot say anything bad about front end engineers. It's actually more difficult to learn with all the browser testing and various like even browser things like Chrome versus Firefox versus Safari and stuff. But it seems like the numbers suggest, at least in this study, that front-end engineering jobs have declined. So yeah, I wanted to show that, and let's discuss that in the chat, and I will answer a few more questions, and we'll end the stream with that. So what did I miss in the chat? Mhm. Right. Nice to see you. What best front-end framework? I answered that already. There's no best front-end framework, but I think that React will give you more opportunities outside of Laravel. Um, Working with Laravel, got laid off and struggled to find another job. Ended migrating to Node and Java, PHP in Brazil. So that's a Brazil situation. Interesting story. Maybe we should talk about that more. I'm thinking actually, maybe to start going outside of Laravel a little. So maybe I'm thinking to create a Next.js course for someone who may want to switch or expand their opportunities. I'm not sure. Right. Right. Right, a few more comments. Hello, Povilas. People saying hi and thanking me. I thank you back for watching. Does the AI world is very demanding as you describe? Uh, I'm not sure. The Yellow Cheese magazine questions are so broad. I'm not sure how to answer that. What do you think about web development in long term? This is a philosophical discussion. We had that discussion. So while I was in Gran Canaria, I met a guy, Simon Hamp, native PHP creator. So Simon and Shane are the team of native PHP, and he lives in Gran Canaria. That was a surprise for me. So we met and we talked about, so what happens next? What comes next as a wave of how we use IT in general? And I already had a video on my YouTube channel about the search future. So the thing how we search for things will fundamentally change because of AI assistance. So instead of Googling, instead of using filters on Skyscanner to search for flights, we will prompt for or voice prompt for pretty much everything, I think, in like 5 years or so. So there will be like web development behind the scenes, like the backend isn't going anywhere, but the front end, I think, will massively change. We will have applications. We will have, so that's why native PHP, I think, has a bright future because it's cross-platform. And then, so ChatGPT and stuff, the assistant way of using stuff, using the backend data will become like more and more growing. I'm not sure. You can comment here. Do you use Google or do you go to ChatGPT or Claude to search for something, or Perplexity? I think more and more of us go directly to LLM to discuss stuff. Right. Another question: if I already know everything that you teach in your guideline for junior to senior, why I'm not considered as senior? Maybe you don't present yourself as senior enough. So how do you define that you're senior? Usually seniority is proven by either previous job experience or some, I don't know, some proof, some practical experience that you actually did practically. So your question is, if I already know everything that I teach, have you actually practiced that? So by know, have you read about it, the tutorials, or have you actually created a project to implement all of that? And that project you can show either code on GitHub or real project that would impress potential employers. So that's seniority. Another question: how does the future look for web agencies? Um, it will get harder. Another actually a thing I heard on a YouTube video, that web agencies will become more efficient because of AI. But another side of the story is that uh, AI helps to generate the code, but then another bottleneck becomes reviewing the code. We talked about that a little earlier. So not necessarily it becomes faster or cheaper, especially for team environment. So on Reddit, there's Claude, I think. So go to Reddit, Claude AI. Actually, I will Google it quickly because I've read it pretty recently. There was a story. Yep, this month. This story: using Cloud Code for 6 months, why faster code generation hasn't improved our team velocity. So this is the title of that Reddit post, so you can read that. So AI currently yet doesn't change much for agencies, but we'll see what happens. We need to get back to that topic like month after month. Even now, like I've started creating new course about Laravel and AI. Although I had courses on Cursor, Cloud Code, and Juni at the time in summer, so many things have changed. What is like in 4 months, 5 months? So I need to recap again with new versions, with codecs, with new models and stuff like that. So we need to rediscuss that from time to time constantly. Also, Renato is saying for Brazil, it's much more sense code for yourself, become entrepreneur. This is another thing, another path for you. So if you can't find a job, for example, or maybe you don't want to, but it has to be in kind of your DNA in a way to become an entrepreneur, because it's way different than just coding, than just creating stuff. So you need to get good at marketing, sales, pitching, entrepreneurship, and stuff like that. But this is like the ideal future for a lot of developers, but it's not as as sexy as it looks in the beginning. Yep. Mhm. Right. I think that's it. Mahmoud saying hello, hello, just joined. Okay, guys, 50 minutes in, so enough for this live stream. I also had a plan to search to go through Upwork, like jobs, what are there, but probably for the next live stream because it's already a lot of time, and I have other things to do today. So yeah, thank you for joining. Um, Thank you for your comments. Again, I will repeat, if any of you have any questions that I can help with in your career or point to some specific, I don't know, tutorial or course or something, don't hesitate to email me, pavelas@laraveldaily.com. And if you have any ideas for future live streams as well, I will from time to time, if I have time and if I have energy, will jump on YouTube pretty randomly. I don't plan it anymore. I tried to plan it, but I failed it, so it cannot be every week or every month or something. We'll see. So okay, thank you for now, and yeah, see you guys in other videos.